Doug Gottlieb Show on ESPN Radio in 15 minutes. Better Kentucky coach, Rick Pitino or John Calipari? I will tell you in 15 minutes. And two dudes who are going through dialysis apparently got into it at a clinic in Kentucky. That's actually not going to be the funniest story to come out of this rivalry, which is going to play out yet again, this time just off Bourbon Street at the Mercedes-Benz Superdome this weekend. I'll give you my favorite Kentucky coach of those two. It's Doug Gottlieb Show on ESPN Radio, and my boy Brandon Weeden joins us in studio, the record-setting passer at Oklahoma State. And Brandon Weeden, you can follow him on Twitter, at BWeeden3, at BWeeden3. Brandon, you start off playing baseball, and then you walk on in Oklahoma State. They make movies out of that kind of story. You walk on, you redshirt, now you're 28 years old, about to be drafted. You hold every record at Oklahoma State. Now, looking back at your accomplishments, how remarkable you think your story is?
If you really sit back and think about it, it is pretty surreal. I mean, I would have never thought, being where I'm at right now, I would have accomplished half the stuff I've been able to accomplish. But, my baseball is kind of, it's two separate chapters, basically It really is. And in this Oklahoma State chapter, life has been pretty special. I mean, what we were able to accomplish, winning a Big 12 championship and then going on to a BCS game and, just on and on and on. I mean, everything now is just kind of like icing on the cake. I mean, it's kind of surreal. It's a lot of fun.
What do you think you have, your play, your performance on the field, your performance in workouts, your pro day at Oklahoma State? What has been the response that you've gotten from the NFL people?
Everything's been extremely positive. I think, every stop along the way, I've thrown the ball well, I've interviewed well, I've done a lot of good things there. So I've done, as far as anything I could do to help myself outside of the game tape, I feel like I've done a pretty good job with. I think it all goes back to my maturity. I think, I believe I could play, right away if I needed to. I think that's, from a maturity standpoint, I know it's going to be tough. I understand playing the NFL is not easy. It's a very tough business, and quarterback's the toughest position to play in all of sports. And so, but I still feel like that. I would give a good run at playing sooner than later.
When you talk about playing sooner than later, okay, and people are going to ask you about that. Do you want to play right away, or would you rather sit and learn an NFL system? How do you react?
No, I think my first thing is, again, I understand how tough it is to play NFL quarterback. It's one of the toughest positions there is, but I feel like with everything I've been through, my maturity, my game, I have a lot of confidence in my arm and all the things that go along with that. So, I believe I can play soon. I think right away is kind of the approach I'm taking.
How much have you heard the 28 thing thrown out there? I mean, when you talk to, forget about fans. Fans get caught up in the age,
right?
And I know your deal is it's like you hear dudes throw this out to women and date, like, hey, it's only a number, right? And I've heard this. He's a young 28 because you went so many years without playing,
right?
Just the NFL guys, the guys that actually matter. How much of it is a factor?
I'll be honest, and of the ones that have been straight up and just kind of told me what they really think, I've had a few quarterback coaches say, Brandon, it's a positive. Us as an organization, we want that. We wanted a guy that's a little bit older, a little bit more mature, that's not beat up. But a lot of teams will keep it to themselves. They don't branch out and tell me exactly how they feel. But there's been teams that have told me straight up. They said, listen, it's a positive. We like that about you.
Brandon Weeden, former quarterback, Oklahoma State, holds essentially every passing record at Oklahoma State, getting ready for the upcoming NFL draft. So I'm on the sideline for Bedlam. And look, Landry Jones, at the time, everybody thought first-round pick. He's decided to come back. And it wasn't, I didn't think it was windy. It was a little breezy that night. Because Oklahoma thought it was always going to be a breeze.
Right.
And I felt like his ball fluttered a little bit in the wind, that some of his throws were high. Some of it was you guys hit him. Whereas your line did a great job. You virtually went untouched. They rolled you out using good position. But I felt like your ball just cut right through the wind. In terms of arm strength, what do you think the strength is? Is it the accuracy? Is it downfield throwing? Is it every throw? What for people who don't know you and they've simply seen you at Oklahoma State and can't quantify it at the next level?
Yeah, I think a couple of things. I think one, accuracy. I think it's one thing to be able to make all the throws with the arm strength, but you got to be able to throw it accurately, and especially at the NFL level. So, I think one thing guys don't talk about is throwing a catchable ball. You get balls that are kind of wobbly, or you get balls that are throwing your back hip. That's tough on those guys. So I take a lot of pride in throwing the ball where my guys can go get it. And, I realize I have a strong arm. I can make all the throws, but, there's a lot more to it than that. There's a lot more to playing that position, and you got to throw the ball accurately, and that's one of the most important things.
Dude, you got a freaky strong arm. Let me ask you this. RG3, Andrew Luck. Who do you take?
I don't think you can go wrong with either one. I've seen both live, and against us personally, and Andrew Luck had the better game. Against us, RG3 kind of scuffled around a little bit, and we kind of got after him. But Luck was like 27 of 31 and 300 some odd yards. I mean, played outstanding against us. So
it was insane.
Yeah, he played well. So I mean, from what I've seen, with my own two eyes, I think Luck is kind of the guy. What
are your expectations?
I think just go as high as I possibly can to the right team, and I think it just takes one team. You know that, everybody knows that. I expect to have a good, long NFL career. That's kind of the way I approach it. You look at, for instance, I'm not saying I'm Peyton Manning, but he just signed a contract that goes till he's 41. And that's 13 years for me if I can play in the NFL for that long, and that's a long career. So I just want to play for as long as I can, and have a good, solid NFL career.
No, I mean, look, everybody says listen, I want to go to the right team. That sounds good, okay, but agents will tell you look, you don't take it in basketball. You don't take a guy who's a second round pick, because he's going to fire you because he thought he was a first-round pick, and then he's going to hire another guy.
Right.
Okay? Is there a spot to which you're like, all right, look, if I'm like a 6, 7-round pick, this is what's the level of now I'm disappointed?
It's hard to say. I mean, I think you always listen to people that have played in the league, and they say the first 3 rounds you got a shot, and I think that's the way it was in baseball. If you're a top 3-round pick in baseball, you got a chance to play for almost as long as you have, barring injury, as long as you want to play. I'm not going to put a round on it or a number on it. I mean, I think that's, my quarterback's a different position. You're not talking about offensive linemen or receivers where there's a lot of them. So if I can, be the 4th quarterback off the board, we saw what happened in last year's draft. You just never know.
You're going to keep us updated when you get drafted. You're going to come on with us and keep us updated on your trials and tribulations through camp.
I will, man.
All right, good. Because we were on the train early. Don't forget we were on the train early.
You got it, brother. Anytime.
Brandon Weeden, follow him on Twitter at BWeeden3, correct?
That's right.
You're not changing it? Now, what happens if you lose the number? You still sticking with it?
Keep it the same.
All right, keep the Twitter address as always.
I got some good followers.
Brandon Weeden, Oklahoma State. Thanks so much, Brandon.
All right, man. Appreciate you.